everybody, it's Karen, entrepreneur of Quiet Mountain Wellness and author of It's Time for a U-Turn. Welcome to the channel and thanks for watching today. I wanted to put this short video out for you and I'm really doing it kind of in response to everything that's going on right now with COVID-19. I'm thinking probably moving towards the end of the lockdowns and starting to move forward into a more normal semblance of life. But we've been in this situation now for some weeks, and the longer it stays, the more we kind of get tripped up when it comes to our normal routines, right? These things, we can kind of get off track. Our choices can get kind of funky, and we start to maybe lean into things like self-indulgence and just maybe some areas that aren't quite as nourishing and supportive as we could be choosing. So what I'm offering you today is something I like to call the bridge question. And this is, what is the most self-honoring choice I can make right now? So what does that do, and why is it powerful? It seems deceptively simple, but when we look at the question, the last two words, right now, what does right now do for us, right? It brings us out of the future, kind of pulls us back out of those anxious or fearful thoughts about the future. It also pushes us forward out of the past and moves us into the present moment. We want to be in the present moment when we make our choices. We want to be consciously in the present moment because that is where all the power is. And so when we choose with presence and consciousness, we really can make better choices. Now, the self-honoring choice, let's look at that for a moment. The word honor and then the word self. What we're doing is connecting self to honor, okay? So when we think about honor, intuitively, where do you think honor is found, right? We usually find that in the heart. So in my book, It's Time for a U-Turn, that actually is the U-turn, right? We are turning into our heart. We are asking, turning toward the heart and asking, what is the most self-honoring choice I can make right now? And when we connect with that energy, what we're really doing is we are tending to our inner circumstances, okay? And this is so important to do, especially before we tend to our outer circumstances. And if you remember one thing from this video, I hope that this is what it is, because this is key. We tend to the inner circumstances, right, before we tend to our outer circumstances, because this way we're bringing a different and better calibration of energy to all of our choices, to all of our challenges, right? So it's really important for us to do that. Now, when we look at the self-honoring choice, let's say that that is sitting kind of as the center point of a choice. And if it's at the center of a pendulum, if we swing that pendulum maybe out to one side, what we're going to find is self-indulgence. Okay, and we know that self-indulgence is not a self-honoring choice, because if you made a self-indulgent choice 100 times in a row, you probably wouldn't be getting good energy from that choice. A self-honoring choice gives energy back. There's an energy return, okay? And so that's kind of one side when you kind of move away from a self-honoring choice. When you go in the other direction, you might go in the direction of self-sacrificing, or as I like to call it, other honoring, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with honoring others, of course not. The kind of caveat there, though, is that when we are connecting with self-honor, we are also bringing more energy into our choices, into our bodies, into our minds. As we bring this energy in, we connect with our resources, okay? And so when you are connected with your resources and feel your capacity, absolutely, if you want to honor others, that's the time to do it. Sometimes where it gets a little blurry is when we aren't connected to our resources and we choose to other honor. And that really does create a circumstance of self-sacrifice, and that drains our energy as well, okay? So again, that question, what is the most self-honoring choice I can make right now? That choice is going to bring you back to your heart, and no matter where you are, if you're in a state of self-indulgence or a state of other honoring or self-sacrifice, it will slowly bring you back to that center, okay? That center of honor. And when you're in that space, what you're doing is you're really nourishing yourself with these choices. You'll be experiencing more of a sense of clarity and steadiness, and you'll feel more intuitive because you'll be more connected, right? And so as we continue to choose this way, what we end up doing is start to work our way towards a sense of feeling greater peace. When we feel greater peace, of course, we can relax. We feel more like ourselves. But I really think that relative to this pandemic, there's two qualities that really start to build as we use self-honor. And those are that we start to feel safer. And we also start to feel a little more free. So choosing with self-honor can actually help you to feel more safe and free. And I think right now, these are a couple of great touchstones for us to keep coming back to during this pandemic. Again, because we can kind of get tossed off our center, lose our energy, maybe start to lose hope. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to let our mood fall too far, because then that starts to affect our immunity. And of course, we all want to stay safe and healthy during this time as well. So this really is what I want to impart to you is that it's so simple and profound, and that to feel better, to hold yourself in the space of self-honor really is something that can be very simple to do. Feeling good doesn't have to be complicated in order for it to be effective. Okay, so sometimes simple is best. So I hope that going forward you will consider making that self-honoring choice and asking yourself the question, what is the most self-honoring choice I can make right now? And then moving forward, worst case scenario, you're going to be creating a really nice habit for yourself that will serve you through this pandemic and far beyond. Thanks so much for listening today. As always, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. Take care.